battle for the lead, still a good one.
Two Fords coming down the back straightaway. Bill Elliott starts peeking around Ken Schrader for a chance to make the move. For the time being, he's still about a car length off the rear deck.
Bill Elliott filling the rear-view mirror of Kenny Schrader. He's been seeing that now for about the last 4 or 5 laps. Elliott perhaps waiting for that last lap before he makes his move. Waltrip third, Buddy Baker fourth, Rick Wilson runs in fifth.
They're pretty well all strung out now, back through about the top 20 positions. Waltrip looks back and Buddy Baker's closed in on him, or maybe another 4 or 5 car lengths. That may be where the battle is on these final laps, other than for the lead. Elliott, there's no doubt he's playing a waiting game as he works over to turn number 2. So far, he is sitting just a couple of car lengths behind Kenny Schrader.
Rick Wilson may be able to track Buddy Baker down before it's all over. He now runs in the 5th spot. As Lake Speed has problems, he's dropped down to the inside apron of the track over in turn 3.
Schrader, your leader. Elliott still working to within 1 car length in turn 3. Elliott taking that Coors Thunderbird right down low on the racetrack. He's right up alongside of Schrader. Bill Elliott goes into the lead off of turn 4.
Well, Bill trying to show his hand with still 4 1/4 laps to go. It's close to the line, and at the stripe, that would have been a call for the photo finish camera as Schrader goes to the outside and holds off Bill Elliott. And everybody's eyebrows start dancing just a bit as Schrader shows the muscle there in 1.
Not only does he hold him off, he blows him away. 6 car lengths, the lead at the entrance to turn number 1. Coming out of 2, Elliott on the charge once again.
So it's the two Fords coming down the back stretch. The Junie Donlevy machine of Ken Schrader out front. Bill Elliott in second. They've built up about a 20 car length lead over the third place car, the Tide machine of Darrell Waltrip.
Elliott had inched ahead out of turn 4 the last time around, but then it was Schrader taking it right back, and again Elliott moves to the low side of the racetrack, but this time he cannot get around the Red Baron Ford number 90.
Bill Elliott had his hands full here at the start-finish line. That car almost came out from under him. The tail end wagged. He had a good piece of driving to keep it in a straight line as Kenny Schrader really pinched him close to hold him off. They're back in turn 1.
Elliott right there, hovering like the vultures, waiting for the time to strike as the laps run down. Schrader slips a little bit high in turn number 2, but Elliott can't take advantage. They're off the turn number 2 and down the back chute.
They have a good battle for the 4th spot now as Buddy Baker hangs on to the position. Rick Wilson has been peeking to the inside as they come off turn 2. For the time being, he'll stay behind, tucked back there about a car length off the Baker rear deck.
Schrader, your leader. Elliott again to the low side of the racetrack. They're going to be in traffic coming off at turn 4. Schrader and Elliott go to the outside of the number 93 car of Charlie Baker, and it's still Schrader, your leader.
The top 15 positions now wrapping up with Tommy Sneva, the Skoll machine, having made it into the 15th in the final automatic transfer spot. And still Schrader shows the way to Elliott. They're working the last of race traffic in 1.
Around the lapped automobile of Joe Boer, now coming up on the J.D. McDuffie car. Way up on the outside of the racetrack goes Kenny Schrader. He does away with McDuffie.
Schrader in the lead. Elliott is second in the 3rd place car. Still Darrell Waltrip going around the slower traffic. In 4th still is Buddy Baker. The 5th spot belongs to Rick Wilson, the Kodak machine. Back in the 6th spot as they head for turn 3 is Ricky Rudd.
Schrader, your leader. Elliott to the high side of the racetrack. And Darrell Waltrip has really been closing on both Schrader and Elliott in the last couple of laps. Waltrip 3rd, Baker 4th, and Rick Wilson 5th.
White flag this time by as they come down to the line, and Darrell Waltrip has turned up the afterburner. He is chasing him down. Elliott looks on the outside, may go after the lead in turn 1 on this final lap.
Kenny Schrader and Bill Elliott separated by about a car length, then 15 lengths back to Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip right on the bottom of the racetrack begins to close the gap as they exit turn number 2.
The two Fords are in command now, but Waltrip may be saving something in his washing machine. As they come off turn number 2, he's in the 3rd spot, but is quickly closing the gap here on the back straightaway.
Elliott to within 1 car length of the leader, Kenny Schrader. Elliott on the high side of the racetrack. Bill Elliott taking a line he has not done so far. Elliott high side off at turn 4. He pulls up alongside of Schrader.
Through the tri-oval, this is for the checkered flag. Bill Elliott with a half car length advantage. Here comes Schrader back to the inside. And we'll have to wait and see. They are going to call a look at the final replays, and they are going to call Kenny Schrader. Kenny Schrader just edging Bill Elliott at the stripe in what was virtually a finish side by side. They have the instant replay photo finish cameras tuned on the finish line, and the celebrating in the Junie Donlevy pits, Barney. I haven't seen anything quite like that since New Year's Eve in Times Square.
Well, they well deserved it here this afternoon. They came to Daytona, did their homework, and felt like they could do it. They pulled it off, and he didn't get it easy. He had to work for it. Elliott tried to put all the experience he's had in the last 7 or 8 years of being a winning driver to use coming out of turn number 4. Took a line that might have surprised Kenny a little bit, but as they came down through the dog leg, it was anybody's race until they crossed the line. He couldn't have won it by more than 3 or 4 inches. they're still jumping up and down on pit road. Talk about a happy man. Kenny Schrader will be smiling for a week. It'll be a second or so before we'll be able to get to him in victory lane. Quickly, let's go to the pits and check in with Bill Bowser.
Well, Bill Elliott, a wild ride.
Well, I'll tell you what, Schrader might give you a run for the money.
Last lap.
Well, that's the way it goes. I think, he's strong right here today, and I just hope I can get my car worked out and run good on Sunday. I brought it back in one piece, and we're going to get in here and work on it and hope it'll go 500 miles now.
Was it loose at all?
Well, I got a little bit, give it a wild ride there with a couple of laps to go in a tri-oval there, but, it wasn't too bad.
A lot of hot running cars out there today.
Yeah, there was. It looks like a few of the guys had some trouble, but, I got to say, Schrader did a good job, and I congratulate him for the win.
And Bill Elliott, with a grin on his face, will be talking to the rest.
Let's go to victory lane.
Well, a very happy Kenny Schrader, an emotional victory lane here for the Red Baron Pizza crew. And Kenny, first of all, congratulations on a tremendous run.
Hey, I tell you what, we had a good run. We've had a good run all week. The whole Junie Donlevy crew, Bob Johnson and Junie and Timmy and Jimmy and Kenny, and we've got so many guys. It's just they've worked so hard. We're putting something together. We made the decision last winter or last season about midway through that we had something we could work with. We just needed to stick together.
He gave us a big hug to Junie Dunleavy here. And Kenny, you said before the race you thought the car was awfully strong. You had the Keith Thornton engine for qualifying, but you went out there. Describe that last lap to us, you and Bill Elliott.
Well, I'm still thinking Bill let up because I can't believe it. But we didn't pit for tires, and that's how we got to the front. And I kept hollering in on the radio the last couple laps. I said, man, we were out of tires. We was in trouble. When Bill tried me the one time, I figured he was going to try me there in the last lap. So when we ducked down the back straightaway, I just rolled out of the throttle way early. Just kept her down. If he went around the outside of us, then he deserved it. But if he couldn't do it, I wasn't going to give it to him.
You made that shot back. Did you know you won it when you came across the stripe? It was that close. Or did you think you had gotten the win?
I thought we might have, but I hollered on the radio awful loud. I wanted to know for sure.
Again, congratulations. Junie Dunleavy, congratulations on a tremendous win for your team.
Thank you very much. Couldn't be any happier.
Well, a jubilation here in Victory Lane as the Red Baron crew. I'm getting surrounded and sprayed here, but a happy, happy Kenny Schrader.
There's no better people in this business than Junie Donlevy and Kenny Schrader. A well-deserved win. Let's check in on pit road again.
Well, I got to say the same thing. I drove for Junie for 6 years, and there's no people in the world that deserves it more than they did, and I sure am happy for them. I had a little trouble getting down into these other cars because I was kind of jumping and hopping for them also. I was down there talking to Bobby Allison, and Bobby, is this a first for you and your son on the front row of any race?
Well, as far as I can remember, it is the first time on the front row, no matter where we have been.
Well, the bad thing about it is you're on the outside.
Well, that's true. He's done a heck of a job since he's been down here, and he's running good. I hate to see him miss that pole, but he's got that pole outside, which is the inside for this race.
Well, I think he's doing a great job, as I'm sure you are. You do, but, the track is getting a little bit slicker as it gets a little bit older, a little bit longer and stuff, and the cars are getting more and more competitive. What do you expect here?
When am I what?
What do you expect here as far as the race is concerned?
Well, judging by the last race, I think we'll have a very competitive race. Looks like the speed's back up a little bit for everybody, and, we just have to see how things go.
Okay, Barney. Back to you.
He's got to have mixed emotions sitting on that front row with his son, Davey, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. Let's check in with Bill Bowser.
A few words of exchange between Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip at the present time, apparently about running out on the track, and we're just close.
Well, I'm sure there are going to be quite a few heated tempers in some of the moves that were put on here today, but that's part of this business. It's all over at Daytona in the first 7-Eleven Twin qualifier.